Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still with you here on LTV International and our continued coverage and special edition regarding the recent developments at the World Urban Forum, the 12th edition of the World Urban Forum, which is currently being held here in Cairo, Egypt, from the 4th till the 8th of November. A very important event which highlights and showcases really Egypt's capabilities and progress when it comes to sustainable development. Now, this significant event is being held under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and convenes over 20,000 participants from all around the world. Of course, it offers a space for discussions as well as solutions when it comes to sustainable development, when it comes to affordable housing and urban resilience. And for more details, of course, during the inaugural address by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held yesterday, he said the current version of the World Urban Forum comes at a time when the whole world is facing consecutive crises and wars with destructive consequences, something the President said needs mobilization of efforts and political will. We have more details in this report.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Monday addressed the opening session of the 12th World Urban Forum in Cairo. In his speech during the opening session, President al-Sisi reiterated that the forum was a good opportunity to exchange views over facing urban challenges and supporting sustainable development within the 2030 agenda. The head of state called for unifying efforts to spread peace and stop all conflicts worldwide, asserting Egypt's constant keenness on stopping violence and escalation in the Middle East region. President al-Sisi said Egypt had launched several initiatives to help poor communities and implement new projects that raise the level of their living conditions. Early on the sidelines of the 12th World Urban Forum in Cairo, President al-Sisi held a meeting with the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas. Presidential spokesperson, Councillor Ahmed Fahmy, said that during the meeting, President al-Sisi stressed Egypt's constant support to the Palestinian cause and rejected the Israeli escalation in Gaza and the West Bank. The head of state also highlighted the importance of intensifying efforts to reach an immediate ceasefire in the Palestinian territories, provide humanitarian aid and protect the Palestinians' rights in establishing an independent state in accordance with the international resolutions. On the sidelines of the 12th World Urban Forum in Cairo, the President also received Sudan's head of the Sovereign Council, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan. Spokesperson of the Presidency, Ahmed Fahmy, said the meeting highlighted the strength of bilateral ties binding the two countries. Sisi confirmed Egypt's continuous support for Sudan on all levels, saying that the Egyptian efforts aim at reaching a ceasefire and halting bloodshed in Sudan. For his part, al-Burhan appreciated the role played by Egypt and its keenness on maintaining Sudan's unity. Head of state also received Chief of the Yemeni Presidential Leadership Council, Rashad al-Alimi. During the meeting, President al-Sisi reiterated Egypt's firm stance supporting Yemen's unity and stability and its efforts to reach a comprehensive political solution to the crisis. Arab region and Red Sea security featured prominently during the meeting, with Sisi reviewing Egypt's efforts to hammer out ceasefires in Gaza and Lebanon and efforts for de-escalating in the region and restoring calm. Meanwhile, al-Alimi expressed his appreciation for the Egyptian continued support for his country and asserted his keenness on holding consultations with the Egyptian side on all issues of mutual concern.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by His Excellency, Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, the former Minister Plenipotentiary Commercial. It's a very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Very good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time. Let me start by asking you, Mr. Ambassador, about the importance of the World Urban Forum, specifically with regards to the timing of holding such an event and how this year's forum is different from previous versions of the gathering.
This is an important gathering, and when Egypt is taking part in it, it is taking a positive part or a dynamic part in it. Egypt has developed in many areas, especially in urban development, and we have seen many slum areas which have been completely changed now. So there is a lot we can say about this topic, because Egypt is doing a good effort in this respect in many areas, not only in Cairo, the capital of Egypt, but also in the upper and the lower East, that is North, south and now south and north Egypt, and you have seen it even in desert areas like Marsa Matruh and Siwa and in Sinai. So a lot of work in urbanization is being done, and this is felt by the citizens now. That is why many citizens are now contributing positively, and the private sector is taking a good part to support the government's efforts in this respect.
Indeed, Your Excellency. And of course, this year many themes and topics are under discussion. Tell me a bit about some of the main topics and themes in this edition of this forum in Egypt.
The forum is handling and tackling the problems which we are facing in urbanization and in the cities, mainly cities. There is overpopulation in certain areas, increased population, and this means increased needs to services, and that is why the government is keen to satisfy the needs of the citizens, right, and also to listen to what they need, and also to correct its path as soon as they know about any problems which are faced in this respect. That is why urbanization and this forum is very important, because it highlights the most important areas that has to be faced in the very near future.
Indeed. Your Excellency, how do you see, this forum as serving as a platform for Egypt and the Egyptian market, preparing it for further urban development investment projects?
Egypt is a country with a population of about 110 million inhabitants. The exodus or immigration, if you can call it, or leaving the countryside and villages to the cities, or that's urbanization, means that many new areas are cropping up as urban areas, even in the countryside in the South Egypt. And this means that a lot of work has been done, and more should be made to face the needs of the people and what they need today and tomorrow, because increased population means increased service needs, increased service and increased outlays or expenditure as far as the most needy aspects of life in the new cities are concerned. Well, we have seen this in many areas, especially in South Egypt and Sinai, and as I mentioned, in the Western Desert. And this means that the government is paying attention to what the people need today.
Absolutely. Now, we've seen the Executive Director of the United Nations Population Urban Development Program speaking at the forum, and he said Cairo is also actively involved in several green establishments. How would you elaborate on this term, green establishment, and its importance in light of the discussions now surrounding issues related to climate change?
Green economy is very important, whether in the countryside or in the urban areas. More important, of course, in the urban areas, because we have seen in the new cities which are constructed in Egypt, one of the main features is more trees. I would say just trees here and there, and this means that we have conscience. We are aware of the need to more green areas in the cities, because it is the lung of the zero which produces oxygen for the people, and that is why the government is taking every possible action to ensure that urbanization is not at the cost of the environment, but it will be supported by the environment by growing trees and shrubs here and there. That is very important, because it is badly needed and reflects on the health of the people. That is to say, it minimizes the cost of medication.
Absolutely. Now, Your Excellency, speakers at this forum have described it as a chance, to exchange expertise in such a field. How do you weigh such an importance of exchanging expertise when it comes to urban development? And as you mentioned earlier, of course, Egypt has great expertise in this regard, as it has developed several areas already and new cities are being established.
Egypt has been for years now, more than 2 decades now, urbanization is strong and a strong trend. And we have Egypt has gained a lot of experience in this respect, that is in construction, in infrastructure, in green areas, and so on. That is why many African countries are coming or calling Egypt to help them in urbanization projects which they have, and Egyptian experts are going to these countries like Uganda and Kenya and even in the South African countries to help them as far as urbanization and green areas are concerned.
Right. And how do you see, Your Excellency, urban development now, specifically during this period in time, employing and developing sustainability?
Sustainability depends mainly on the right urbanization. So when we see slum areas are quickly changed to urban areas habitable by people, and with at least with ensuring the minimum requirements for health, for transportation, for services, and for clinics, and for green areas, and even for playgrounds for the children. There is a lot to say in this respect. That is why the government is ensuring that the new urban areas have the necessary basics for the new for life in this area, mainly the green areas, the playgrounds for the kids, and schools, and the health services. And that is why we are seeing the new urban areas in certain cases, they are better than the old areas in this respect.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. And now let's move to some economic benefits. How do you see some of the economic benefits that come as a result of implementing urban development? What comes to the economy of the state as a result of such implementation, Your Excellency?
The state or the country or the government has a lot to gain from this urbanization on sound basis. Because these are production centers, if I can say, because the people who are living in these areas, if they are living in habitable area and healthy area, this will be reflected on their productivity. So the economic part and the economic segment or from economic point of view, the correct urbanization is very important to ensure supplying the people with their basic needs and helping them to be as productive as possible, and at the same time to obliterate or to cancel all the defects of the overcrowded areas. That is why we see that in the new urban areas, they are not overcrowded or overcondensed as we see in the old areas in Cairo and in the big cities like Mahalla, Kobra, and Alexandria, and Beni Suef, and even Aswan.
Absolutely. And of course, you know, such economic development also spills over to the social stage. How do you see urban development impacting social development as well?
It is strongly impacting social development. Why? Because people, when they live in a habitable area, in a healthy environment, this reflects economically even on their attitude or the attitude towards being more productive, being more helpful, being positive, and this will help the people to focus on the most needy aspects of their lives, that's the production and being a driving force in development of the country.
Absolutely right. So I'd like to thank you very, very much, Your Excellency Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, Minister of Plenipotentiary Commercial. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and your insight, ladies and gentlemen. We go to a short break and we'll be back to continue our special edition and our coverage here on LTV International. Do stay tuned.